as you always do about this time.
This one's for you, Dio. I was thinking.
Oh shit, not good.
So, a year or two ago, COVID got me messed up, man. Probably 2 years ago, I did African ancestry.
Okay.
So I found out that I'm from the Temne people tribe in Sierra Leone, West Africa, where most of the majority of the slaves came from. Now,
Blood diamonds.
Yeah. Shout out to Kanye. What they said was that when you discover this, you're supposed to have a fire that sparks and a kind of a greater understanding because you're more anchored to something, and understanding increases awareness. Makes sense, right? So I think that this applies in relationships. Understanding equals awareness.
No doubt.
So here's a couple interesting things that I was reading on. They did a survey in the United Kingdom, in the UK, and they found out that 1 in 25 men are raising children that aren't theirs and they don't know. They did a survey of women. They did in the United States, roughly 30% of DNA tests come back that the guy isn't the father, right?
Oh.
So if you're in a situation as a man, how do you rectify this? Well, I propose a new company called Whole Ancestry.
Whole Ancestry?
Whole Ancestry, right? This way you understand the history of the hoe you messing with. See, a lot of people won't tell you that their mama and their grandmama was a hoe, right? See, a lot of people won't tell you that your grandma had sex with a dude named Slick Willie, all right, that played the spoons and the harmonica in a blues band down in Mississippi, or she got it on at a cafe right down the street from the Edmund Pettus Bridge right before Bloody Sunday. Matter of fact, she missed the movement because she was getting busy in the bathroom, okay? She was giving up that civil rights puss. Some of these women, if you go back into their history and all the way back to the motherland, they tribe, instead of holding spears, they was holding penises, right? So you gotta check the whole ancestry.
So is it a mouth swab for that, or is it like a finger prick? What was it?
All of that. Okay, because if you do the mouth swab, you get the penis residue out of there.
Oh man.
You non-ancestry niggas, you on some sucker shit.
It's sucker, man. It's sucker.
You know, excellence is a reflection of things you do, continuously, regularly, right? So if you do something regularly, you get excellent at it, right? You get proficient at it. So for instance, how do you, here's what the long term meets the right now. How do you instill responsibility? How do you instill accountability? Now these are long term things, but they play out, short term. They play out chores. They play out make your bed every day, do your chores every day, be consistent, be accountable, be a part of a team, which is that household or that family. And that's a daily thing, right? Right. And if you don't show up daily, then it's disruptive. Now the correction can be seen as fucked up, or however it can be seen, but guess what, outside the house, I'm like, fuck about you. Right. So it's the preparation, right? That's boot camp. So from zero to whenever they leave, it's boot camp. So to me, the challenge of fatherhood is carrying that responsibility and not knowing how your kids are gonna take, embody, and implement the shit that you are trying to convey, because you don't know if that shit stick or not. In order for them to be successful with it.
Well, I would say this. I'm in agreement with that. Since we're moving on to challenges, I would say that there's many challenges, but one of the main challenges is to deal with your own hypocrisy. Fatherhood is a mirror. It forces you to look at yourself.
Shit, like all relationships, but
Right.
yes.
But at least for me, it was a relationship I couldn't leave. I've left a woman before. I've never left my kids.
That's right.
So if you're going to become, one thing that we all can relate to, when we were growing up, we saw bullshit. We knew a person that acted totally different, right? I had an uncle that was he was a dope fiend. And he'd be like, don't do this. I'm like, you about to go smoke a rock, nigga.
Yo, crack.
I'm not taking life lessons from you. So, but
And his son wasn't making songs.
so when we grow up, we see the adults and we see the ones that really live what they say, and you tend to gravitate towards that. So if you have a bunch of hypocrisy in your life,
Right.
and you're talking to your child, your son or your daughter, they're gonna see through your BS. So you have to start crafting a real philosophy about your life, right? And something with some meat on it, all right? Not just some window dressing, because you're gonna have to walk that every day. And then the challenge is, when I say be comfortable in your hypocrisy, because we're all hypocrites as people, you have to be able to talk to your child and say, okay, this is what I thought then.
Right.
This is how I've evolved.
Right.
These are the areas where I'm full of shit.
Right.
Right? And this is what I know you see. All right. And I want you to go out in the world and still test all that I gave you and come back to me and be able to say, hey, Pop, that thing you thought about X, Y, and Z, that don't work no more. Oh, okay. Well, what you seeing? Da, 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 da. And keep that open communication. Right? I do not have some blueprint that I could give men, right? But I would say work on continuously being the best man you can possibly be,
Right.
and pass all of that information down, right?
Yeah.
The stuff you hiding, really pass that down, because what you're hiding is gonna come out through your children.
And the piece on the hypocrisy is this, well, from my point of view, is on that circle back piece, because as well, his big picture, small picture, as a child, you don't see everything that's going into a decision, right? You don't know all of the factors that are at play. So I look at the hypocrisy thing as kind of it's fluid, because sometimes, sometimes I ain't gonna say all the time. I'll say many times and most times, people are doing the best they can in that moment with the information they have, information and resources and abilities that they have. And of course, shit, that may change by the end of the day. May get new information, may get new opportunities, so that decision I made at 9 a.m. may be different than the decision, there was the same or the similar decision I'll make at 9 p.m. because of circumstances that happen in the middle. And I think oftentimes we have to be careful with the hypocrisy piece, because our kids don't know. They have no idea what goes into a decision. They have no idea, beyond their immediate wants, and not even no idea of the internal struggle, right? Because fuck, man, at the end of the day, you like, hey man, these my kids, man, I love them. I hope they like me.
Let me be clear. Hypocrisy is not up to their judgment. It's your self-assessment. You know when you're being a hypocrite.
Gotcha.
You know
Gotcha.
when you passing down some rule,
right,
that's based off of fear,
right,
insecurity, that's based off of you don't want to be bothered
Great point.
now.
Great point.
As opposed to this is something long-term that you don't understand.
Great point.
Right?
Yeah.
So I understand what you're saying, but That's not where I'm coming from.
Gotcha.
This is inside out, not outside in.
Gotcha.
Okay.
I like
One of the things that trips me out, and I've had several of these conversations, one pops into my head. She was complaining about her daughter, and she's this, and I can't believe she like this and she like that. And then I just paused and looked, I was like, damn, who raised her?
Uh-huh.
You acting like this somebody else's child.
Uh-huh.
She's with you every day. That's what you made. Go look in the mirror and let's talk about what you produced and why it came out that way.
Right.
It's always a time for self-assessment,
Right.
right? Now, challenge number 2, that just popped into my head, ties into what you're saying. We've all heard the sentence, well, you know, she did the best she could. You just said it. You do the best you can with the information, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, in general, isn't that what everybody does? Well, that same allowance really isn't afforded to fathers.
There it is.
All right. The line you said it wasn't even though you was a crack fiend daddy.
Right. Right.
And I'm not saying it's okay to not do well, but I am saying it's okay to not do well. Right? Because if your goal is to do well and you fall short, that happens sometimes.
Absolutely.
Right? So perfection can't be the standard. Right? Challenge number 3. We don't understand manhood in our community. So if you don't understand something, how can you value it? If you don't understand something, how do you even know how to make room for it? Many of us are boiled down to our wallets, financial contribution, and physical labor.
Sex.
Well, not sometimes
Is that
sex.
part of the physical labor?
Physical labor. Or I need you to carry this. I need you to move this.
Right.
I need you to pick this up. I need you to pick them up. I need you to do this function. I need you to do that function. It's financial and physical performance.
Yeah.
Right? As if that's all we have to offer.
Right.
Right? A lot of guys are in pay to play situations. Well, if you pay this money, then you'll get this. Or is this a hostage negotiation? Right? I can tell you this about childhood. I remember all kinds of beautiful things from my childhood. I don't remember, I've never told a story about, and I really do always and never, I've never told a story about my childhood where I said, and my mom spent $500 on me and that's what made it special. Oh, my uncle spent X amount of dollars on me and that's what made it special.
Yep.
I remember the people, the feelings,
Yep.
the things.
Yep.
I don't remember the money. Right? All of this transactional stuff that we do shows how broken we are, and that's what we're handing down to our children.